Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Ron, and today I'm gonna be cleaning my humidifier. All right, so here it is. This is the Levoit Classic 300S Cool Mist Humidifier. I purchased this one about a month and a half ago as an upgrade to my previous humidifier that I wasn't really happy with. I'm really happy with this one, I must say. In the beginning, it took a long time for me to figure out the sweet spot of the humidity level in this room. So I was constantly using the app feature, and that is probably my number one favorite feature of this device, is that I'm able to monitor and adjust the humidity level within the app. So I was using that like almost daily the first couple of weeks, trying to figure out what works best for my plants. And I found that if I set it to, oh, I need to turn it on. See, isn't that cool? You can turn it off and on too. Well, right now it's telling me it needs more water. Oh, it turned back off. Yeah, right now I can't check what I actually set it to because it won't run unless there's water in the machine. But I think I set it to like 58%. And in the unboxing and review video that it did, I mentioned that it has a threshold of plus and minus 5% humidity. So even though I set it to 58%, it would turn off at, what is 8 plus 5? 63%, and then turn back on at 53%. It's so late, I can't math. There is a neat feature within the app that I did not mention in that review, and it is the setting called Smart Scene, which I still didn't set it up, but what that means is you're able to close that threshold gap a little bit more. So instead of 5% plus or minus, you can go down to like 1% plus or minus. So you're able to like really fine tune the range of the humidity level that you want the machine to be set to. I'm thinking I might narrow that range to maybe like 3% plus or minus. So I'm gonna try that out, but I just turned on my heater in this house, which means that the heat that's coming out of the vent up there, which is above like the majority of my plants, even though I close the vent, it's still gonna dry up the air in this room. And I realized that like yesterday, because actually yesterday is when the water ran out all the way. So I filled it up all the way to the top about like 3 weeks ago, I think, maybe even longer than that. And only yesterday, it went all the way down. And that was because I did not have my air conditioner on. I did not have my heater on. So the humidity level in this room stayed pretty humid until, of course, I turned my heater on. But this morning, I did add a little bit of water, like an inch up, knowing that my plants needed water or humidity while I was away at work. So I think that lasted about 9 hours. Which tells me if I were to fill it up with water and have my heater running, it would go down pretty fast. So every day it would lose about maybe 2 inches of water. So I think it would probably last no more than 4 days with my heater on. And I set my heater to like 70 degrees. But yeah, the reason why it retained a lot of water was because, like I said earlier, I did not turn my air on, I did not turn my heater on for the past month, because in Vegas, it stayed pretty warm for a long time. Usually we'd have like 1 or 2 weeks out of the year that would have like really comfortable weather. For some reason, global warming, it stayed pretty warm for a whole month. So yeah, I'll kind of quickly show you some of the plants in this room that showed the most response to the higher humidity levels, the plants that really appreciated it. And then I'll take you downstairs to the sink, and then we'll go ahead and clean the machine. Okay, so my grow lights are off right now, but they'll kick back on tomorrow morning. The number one plant in this room that really appreciates the humidity is probably this Monstera deliciosa right here. Because as you can see, okay, these older leaves don't really look the healthiest, but look at all these aerial roots right there. I tried to catch them in time so that I could, direct them to go into the soil, and that's what's happening right here. And it's loving this terracotta pot. Next to that is the string of turtles right here, which took a while to acclimate to this room, but I think it's pretty happy being directly next to the humidifier right here, because what happens is it pushes out lots of cool mist right here, and then it lands pretty much on that plant. I did leave that fan right there to help circulate the humidity to some of these other plants, but that one is really liking it. And it really loves high humidity, guys. So if you have a string of turtles, definitely give it lots and lots of humidity. You can start to actually see some flowers coming in. Let me show you. Like right there, all over the place actually. I did give it a trim. I cut all of the flowers off so that it will focus all of its energy into growing new leaves. But I don't know, we'll see. I kind of like the flowers actually. And everyone else over here, they're doing okay. There's no huge signs that they like the humidity. But this other Monstera deliciosa here, oh, there's a yellow leaf right there. I'm just gonna let that fall off naturally. But check out this aerial root right here. This one I missed. I missed the deadline of the root going into the pot. So I kind of just let it do its thing. I think it's gonna grow into the crack right there and then take over this house. Well, that was just some of the plants that really do appreciate the higher humidity levels in this room, thanks to the classic 300S. But yeah, let's go in for the closer look. Oh, before I do so, let's go through the instructions. Okay, so what's really neat about the app is that it actually comes with a user manual right here. And you do need to be connected to the internet in order for you to see this menu, but we're gonna go down to care and maintenance. And then it takes you through all the steps. Here's just some basic information on how to maintain the machine. So now it tells you exactly how to disassemble the machine and clean out all of the parts. It goes really in depth in how to do that, so I'm not gonna show you all of these instructions, but I am gonna give you a demonstration. So if you're interested in that, then definitely stick around. Oh, hi, welcome to my kitchen. Step number 1 is to remove the cover and rinse this out. Step number 2 is to remove what they're calling a dust cover from the top. And that is located right up here. I don't really know how that even blocks or collects dust, but we have to rinse that. Next is to remove the water tank from the base and pour out any water from the tank and base chamber. So that's this top piece. There's no water in here, but what's really neat about this design is that all 4 corners here have these tiny little slits that help the water escape. So that's a really, really neat, subtle design feature. Now we're going to rinse this and rinse the base as well. But here I took out the little fishy. It's been sitting in here for longer than intended. I'm supposed to switch it out every month. It's been in here for a month and a half. So I think this is already used up. When you're tipping this over the sink, you need to make sure that you're holding onto the float, which is this device right here, because it can fall out. So now that we poured out all of the excess water, we are going to rinse with room temperature water. Okay, if we look at the bottom of the water tank, there's a lot of brown stuff. This is the buildup that can still occur from using purified water. And now that the water is out of the base, you can also see some brown, yucky stuff in there as well. But per the instructions, we are going to put some white vinegar in here so that it'll properly descale. So the instructions call for 3 cups of white vinegar, but I'm gonna just eyeball it and pour it directly into the water tank. And as you can see, it's not diluted. And then we're gonna simply stick it directly onto the base chamber, just like that. And then it says to swish the vinegar around the tank. Okay, so I was actually supposed to do that before putting it back onto the base, but essentially what's going to happen is the vinegar is going to drain into the base chamber and then loosen all of that mineral scale buildup. And then it says to let it soak for 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes. Now we're going to simply remove all of the vinegar. And the next step is to remove this dirty part, which is called the noise silencer. So that's what it looks like. It's still brown, so I'm just gonna gently scrub it with this nylon brush that I have. So now that you remove the noise silencer, I'm gonna put it into a bowl. And to that bowl, we're also going to add the float right here. Okay, this is what it looks like. To that bowl, we're going to add more vinegar. And I suggest you use a small bowl so that you don't have to use a lot, because now you're going to let that sit for another 15 minutes. But while that continues to descale, we are going to use some elbow grease. And I'm going to be using my nylon brush to manually brush out all of the existing scale. Okay, so now that everything is pretty much scrubbed clean, we're just gonna now rinse everything, rinse all of the parts until there is no vinegar smell. Now the final step is whether or not you're using the aroma pad, which is located here, you still need to take it out and rinse it under warm water. And then put it back in place. Okay, so before I assemble everything back together, I'm just gonna give everything a quick wipe and make sure that everything's dry. So I'm gonna further air dry all of the parts before I put water in this thing again. But definitely before I go to bed tonight, I'm gonna turn it on so that my plants have some humidity overnight, especially with the heater going on. Okay, so everything's pretty much dry now. I'm gonna quickly show you how to put the pieces back together. First, we're gonna put the dust cover back on. Inside is still wet. I didn't bother trying to dry that part up because it's only gonna get wet again. So if I turn that over, we're gonna put this noise silencer back in. Not like that, but like this. And then put the float back on. You kind of have to like angle it a little bit. Like that. And then put this back in place. Cover, just like that. See how easy that was? I would recommend cleaning your machine at least once a month if you can. And then Mr. Fishy here definitely helped keep it clean because I didn't notice any buildup on the inside, only in the parts inside of the chamber and all of the loose parts. So I think this actually helps a lot. I do have one more, so I'm gonna be using that one when I do fill this up in a few seconds. So yeah, there you go. Now, let's fill him back up with water because my plants are probably dying right now. Okay, so here's my second fishy, which as you can see right here, it says, keeps cleaning for 30 days. So by the way, this is what it looks like. It has these tiny little cleaning balls inside. So that's gonna take care of all of the algae that might build up or mold that might build up inside of the tank for up to 30 days. Okay, now we can turn him on, finally. Okay, so if we check back with the app real quick, you can see that I actually set the target to 54%. So it's gonna turn on at 49% humidity and then automatically turn off at 59%. So I think that'll be a good starting point for tonight. This is gonna be my first time testing out how much water it'll actually use with my heater on because I didn't have this humidifier last winter. So hopefully it does its job and my plants won't suffer from all of that heat escaping from that vent. Well, that's about it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this video gets you in the mood to clean your humidifier, because if you are living in an area that is experiencing winter right now, especially, you should definitely give your humidifier a good cleaning, because if your heater is turned on, your plants will suffer from drier air, and that means your machine will kick on more frequently. And when it does so, it might actually harm your plants if it does have any sort of algae or mold buildup in there. So if you follow these steps that I've shown you in this video, then you should be golden. Even if it's not your plants, like someone mentioned that they bought this humidifier for their guitars, it would be really bad if this distributes mold and bad particles in the air onto your guitar. So yeah, try to clean your humidifier once a month if you can. Don't go longer than 2 months, or you can invest in these fishy little things that'll help keep it cleaner a little bit longer. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please do hit the thumbs up, and if you haven't yet already, plant scribe. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!